Is astrology a belief? Well, I started out studying astrology because I was trying to make sense of some things that had happened to me during my Saturn return and afterwards. I feel like it literally helped to save my life. I was thinking about this recently and posted on Twitter about it, and the thread sparked some thoughts that I wanted to share with everybody.
People assume that people into astrology believe in astrology. Like, nah, my dude. As an astrologer, I practice astrology. I apply its methods, speak its language, and understand its symbology. No belief required. Yes. I get so annoyed when it comes down to being a matter of belief. And there's also the argument, because I've heard someone make it and I see their point, that when you tell someone, oh, I believe in you, you have faith in them, you know they can do it. If you didn't have faith in the system, you wouldn't use it. Well, yeah, I guess from that aspect that makes sense. But I also want to say that what helped me to have trust and faith, so-called to speak, in it is practicing it, putting it into use, learning how to use it practically and see whether or not it was something worthy of investing in. And it was. So I go on to say, when I first got into astrology, I legit was trying to debunk it, because yes, the fuck I was definitely trying to debunk it. I'm cynical sometimes. I have a healthy amount of curiosity for understanding things. So I'm not just going to adopt something without trying to understand it. But part of my understanding process is breaking things down, and debunking things usually is something that I just kind of do or try to. But I go on to say mostly because I didn't understand what it really was, and also because I held it in the same regard as people hold things regarded as beliefs. Yeah, like a religion or something. And having had the experience that I had growing up with not really feeling connected to the religion that was a part of my upbringing and my family, it was just kind of like, okay, this could just be another thing. But I was ignorant as fuck, so in a way, I get why people think it's a belief. Before I knew what astrology required, that astrology required mathematical and astronomical awareness coupled with observation and the ability to interpret events and behaviors through symbolic lenses, I just thought people were spouting coincidental BS. But something about it called to me, and that's so very true. Like, I have since come to not really believe in coincidences with the way that I understand that the universe works and energy works now, as opposed to maybe like 15 years ago. But I kept being drawn to astrology. Like, the truth of the matter is, I had access to amazing astrological things before I was ready for them. I didn't dig deep into them. And when I finally decided to do it, holy shit. So, I then go on to say I didn't start taking astrology seriously until I was 31. In the aftermath of my Saturn return, learning astrology helped bring me out of a deep depression, yes, the fuck it did, by forcing me to examine events and cycles and recognizing patterns as I learned. That is what actually helped me realize when I was attempting to debunk astrology that I couldn't. I was looking up everything. I was being able to look at past events and see the astrological significance. I was seeing patterns. My Saturn return literally kicked my ass. Like, destroyed everything that I thought I knew about the foundation of my life and how I was going to live as a responsible adult and what that meant. Everything. Literally. Broke down every single little part of it. And it was terrible to go through. I can't even act like it wasn't. It was absolutely fucking terrible to go through. But guess what? That is what made me dig deeper into my study. And it low-key and high-key saved my life. I started to understand that astrology takes everything there is and breaks it into 12 categories, and that a lot of shit can fit within each category. I tell people this all the time. So when you're looking for preciseness with astrology, there's techniques and different things that you need to learn how to be able to further break things down, because if there is everything known and unknown in 12 categories, there's going to be a lot of shit in each category. So, you know, generalizations, that's why we'll see a lot of these. But at the same time, there's ways to go deeper. There most certainly are. Okay? And that there were layers to the categories, that's what I just said, that were far more interesting and complex than most people realize. I dug deeper. Like, I was fascinated. Absolutely fascinated. That there was a way for me to see and quantify and qualify what was going on, or what had occurred. And that led me to believe that I could indeed understand and see ahead of time what will occur. The deeper I dug, the more I felt like I was no longer learning astrology, but instead remembering it. I have to stress this. There were some things that were just coming to me and I couldn't understand why. This felt very familiar. There's different things that I would look into in my chart that could point to this. A lot of people may have heard, or maybe you haven't, Aquarius would be considered the sign that rules astrology. So if astrology had to be categorized into one of those 12 categories, it would be Aquarius. My south node's in Aquarius in my 5th house, but my north node in Leo, which is conjunct my Mars and my Jupiter, is in my 11th house, an astrological house, you could say. I feel compelled. It's like I did it before, but I'm supposed to do it again. Also, when I think about it, even in my rising sign, hidden in those layers that I'm talking about, y'all, I'm a Libra rising, but it's at 11 degrees and 19 minutes, which puts it in the Aquarius decan and the Aquarius duad. Now, that has a lot more to do with how I present myself to the world, my offbeatness too. But again, I feel like it's literally part of my makeup. There pops up the Aquarius energy once again. But anyway, it was familiar, as if I had known it intimately before. It felt like a soulmate that I didn't recognize at first glance, but did after staring deeply into its eyes. That's exactly what it felt like. I didn't know another way to put it. It was home, was definitely home. I felt at home and still feel at home with it. And even though I'm one of those people who will eternally consider myself to be a student of astrology because there's so much to learn, okay, the average human lifespan, even if I read everything astrological that I could get my hands on without sleeping or stopping to do anything else, I won't be alive long enough to learn it all. So I feel like I'm a perpetual student of astrology and I'm home here. And oh my God, so apropos. The best thing I did for myself was learn not only my astrological energy, but how to recognize the astrological energy in everything. Holy shit. First of all, once you start really digging into astrology, you can't help but notice the astrological energy in everything. I know a lot of us get into astrology because what we want to do is learn more about ourselves. So we're all a little bit self-centered when it comes to it at first, but when you really truly grasp it, you see it in everything. You see it at work, in every aspect of life. It literally felt like I was handed the keys to the fucking universe and given a way to understand and see the rhyme and reason for anything. And that's exactly how I felt and still feel now. But putting all of it into practice is what made me come to these conclusions, not simply believing in it. To me, hearing believing in it, like when I was a little kid, my mother told me what to believe in based on what her belief system was. That didn't mean that I had any experience with it, that it had proven itself to me or anything. It just was a belief. That's why I don't really subscribe to the astrology as a belief thing, okay? Now, all the books, studying, practicing, drawing charts by hand, learning techniques, delineating the charts of strangers at bars, all of it never felt like work. It didn't. It didn't. It is work and was work and is going to continually be work the more that I want to learn and practice, especially with technique and things. But it doesn't feel like work. It felt like pure fucking amazingness. Yes. Astrology lifted me out of depression and let my 6th house Pisces sun ass help people. I was severely depressed after my Saturn return. My Saturn opposes my sun. It's part of a T-square in my chart, okay? It opposes my sun. It's in the 12th house and it's in Virgo. And it's retrograde. Oh, joy. I'm going to make a video in the future talking a little bit about Saturn and the Saturn return. And I'm also working on a series of speaking to different people, pulling their charts, and being able to see how their Saturn return affected them. So that's to come. But literally lifted me out of depression and allowed me to find myself. And part of what I'm here to do is to help people. So it actually got me in contact with me. Astrology both saved my life and help me save and make an impact in the lives of others. It's the most beautiful practice I've ever undertaken. 10 years and hundreds of chart reads later, I don't have to believe in astrology. It has proven itself. I really fucking mean that, y'all. I really do. I love it.